I checked on the internet today, and that office is still open. And I started connecting dots of who was involved with the Economic Development Office and what their likely activities were. And so I started putting this out in many, many conversations over my phone. This was before I even had email address or on the internet.
Can we connect the Chinese owning any of our underground bases at all?
I've not seen anything referencing that. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, we probably have had Chinese military touring our facilities in Colorado Springs. I know for sure that we've had the Russians here doing exactly the same thing. So I wouldn't doubt that we've had, you know, Chinese or dignitaries, so-called politicians, and all their politicians all have military backgrounds, or they're actually in the military, but, you know, they're under cover of diplomatic passports or whatever.
Yeah, and this is all under the guise of United Nations moving soldiers here in the States. Some kind of plan they had activated.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that ties in with the NATO ministers meeting that we had here in September of 2003. And that was in Colorado Springs at the Broadmoor Resort, which is very, very well known worldwide. And that was timed, the NATO defense ministers meeting was timed approximately 3 weeks after the brand new underground headquarters of the Northern Command opened. The underground headquarters are under Peterson Air Force Base. And my understanding is that the defense ministers came in early enough before the meeting came together, was that these ministers were given a tour of the base facilities in Colorado Springs, primarily Northcom headquarters, Peterson Air Force Base, which is the U.S. Space Command headquarters there. And then my understanding is that they were treated to a technology experiment, technology demonstration at Schreiber Air Force Base, and that's where the Space Warfare Center is. So, you know, they were given a tour of the capabilities that have been established in Colorado Springs over many decades, but as we all know, the military has taken on a whole new meaning now with Homeland Security, Northern Command being the military chief of FEMA and the military chief of Homeland Security. And we have these facilities that are being toured by all of these various military and dignitaries of other countries. So when the defense ministers were meeting here, they literally had black uniformed security people keeping people away from their homes within a 2-block radius of the perimeter of the Broadmoor, which is a sizable piece of property, but the homes that are surrounding large areas around the Broadmoor Resort, these are all very high-end homes and very well-to-do people. But they were being kept from accessing their own homes for the duration of the ministers' meetings. But what happened also at the defense ministers' meetings was that the final countries that were former Soviet bloc countries that had been under consideration of becoming members of NATO, I believe that there were 9 countries that were left that were seeking to become members of NATO, and one of those I had already had in mind was Slovenia. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up, this ties into a document. This ties into an association of military forces that's coming right out of the Pentagon, and it's called the National Guard State Partnership Program. And what that is 14 states. I have a book here. I should have pulled out the exact page. I could have read just one simple paragraph here to put this in perspective. But we have the National Guards of 14 different states aligning themselves in a military pact with 14 former Soviet bloc countries, and Colorado was partnered up with Slovenia. So at that meeting, they had their official entrance, these 9 countries that were left, that hadn't already been assimilated into NATO, their official entrance into NATO occurred at that time. And they started also, they were talking about the new military alliances that they had formed up with new missions. And some of these missions were policing actions under the NATO banner, which NATO is the military arm of the UN in actuality. No mistake about that. But this has to do with policing actions, and this has to do with the new agenda that Northern Command was created for. And Northern Command is going to be the command structure that's going to be utilizing NATO forces that are going to be used in this country, because our troops are everywhere else but here. And the ones that are here, they're not going to be used for taking care of us. They're going to be used, they're going to be shipped out the next conflagration that we get into, which was looking like Iran, if the neocon commie Nazis have their way, and it looks like they will. They're doing everything they can to do so. The combat-ready forces that we have left in this country, they're going to be taken out immediately. And the chaos is going to ensue with the crash of the economy that's coming. So we are going to be policed under martial law by foreign forces. I mean, this is clear. It's been clear for many, many years. Mark Kornke first came out going on 15 years ago and trying to warn what's going down. Mark being a former Pentagon analyst and privy to information, and he started blowing the whistle and all this stuff. So we started producing a couple of videotapes. One was called America in Peril, and he was coming out with all of this and try and warn what's going to happen. It's coming down the pike. This was including the construction of concentration camps, the number of which is over 100 major ones and over 500 satellite camps that are now numbering over 600 to number.
Yeah, they're just holding things.
See, so, I'm talking fast here. I'm tying a lot of diverse information together here. The knowledgeable people are following me, I'm presuming. And I'm not saying anything new to a lot of people, but a lot is really when you say a lot of people, you really have to figure just how many that really is.
Yeah. Well, you know what, we're just basically looking at all of the plans taking place to eventually throw this entire country into martial law with foreign troops overseeing the citizens here.
Yeah.
And so many people just don't understand or realize what's going on. They don't see the preparations taking place behind the scenes until people come on the radio and start talking about it.
Yeah, well, my God, we've been arming our enemies, and this has been going on since the beginning of World War II. It hasn't stopped. We've been arming our enemies ever since.
Yeah, and I think the icing on the cake was Bill Clinton opening up Los Alamos to the Chinese and then turning around and sending over their own seaport off the coast of California to the Chinese. I mean, that was the icing on the cake. Since then, it's been nothing but a downhill spiral.
Yeah, that's not the only thing. And because when the FBI raided Rocky Flats nuclear weapons plant here, which is about 15 miles northwest of where I'm sitting, which is up against the foothills, just before the foothills, a little bit south of Boulder. And the Rocky Flats plant first came online, I think it was 1952 or 53. And what that plant was doing was manufacturing what was called pits. And these were made out of plutonium, and these were the triggering device of nuclear weapons. So they were made all various shapes, various weights, various sizes, and all of those were being shipped to the Pantex plant in Amarillo, and that's where all the nuclear weapons in our arsenal were being assembled, was in Amarillo, Texas, at the Pantex plant. So all of those kits that were manufactured here for many, many years, up until 1989, when the Rocky Flats plant was raided by the FBI.
All right, Tim, we're going to have to take a break here. We're going to take a 5-minute break, folks, and you want to just hang on the line, Tim?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to be back in about 5 minutes for the second hour of this show. We'll be right back, folks.